if we're looking for someone to blame for the just rapid growth of the crypto industry and the, just explosion of scams that have been built on top of it, who do you think is like at the sort of the base of this? Like what organization or entity is most culpable for making these things happen?
Okay, so the short version is just kind of the cliff notes from the last few years of following me on Twitter, which is obviously there's crypto VCs and generalist VCs like Andreessen Horowitz and Sequoia and Union Square Ventures that have been essentially turned into Ponzi marketers. So that's kind of the obvious one that you would hear from me on any show. I actually want to. I almost never dip on Clubhouse much anymore. I just got too busy, but sometimes I miss those guys that still hang out there. You get a lot of June Seth, you get a lot of HODL. Anyway, I dipped on there a couple of weeks ago, and June Seth was laying out basically like, I'll try to get it right, but basically, of course, if you figured out a way to create money, that then humans were going to try it a lot of times. and then it would basically, you can be a little bit more sanguine about this, first couple of decades of, experimentation and obviously tons of scamming. And, of course you were going to have a battle. It's impossible not to. This experimentation was actually inevitable. And because it's so easy to create a new money, and obviously they're all crappy monies except for Bitcoin, of course people are going to try it. And of course scammers are going to be attracted to that because they have their own printing press for the first time. Like you didn't even have to take over a whole country and then start printing your own money and screwing everybody else over. Like you could just do it straight from your office on Sand Hill Road in Silicon Valley. How much more attractive is that, right? And so it's expensive. These lessons are really expensive. It's combative and hard. I mean, it's hard. Obviously, the life as a Bitcoiner, you can't really experience the fun of the bull market because there's so many scams going on in crypto, and you can't really. I mean, I'd say bear markets are actually more fun because at least maybe the price isn't up, but we are probably not going to be able to have price up and not a ton of noise from scams drowning it out for a while. We just can't have nice things this decade, probably. So I just, coming to grips with that and realizing that the life of the Bitcoiner is, it's kind of a hero's journey, and we're going to be on the long walk or in the hinterlands or whatever for, a long time going forward. And not being impatient about it and just understanding that, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Like you just got to come to grips with some of those things. Probably a good time to mention one of the other things that I've just tried to push out a lot this year, because I don't think I've done it on Swan Signal, is just this idea that, Bitcoin shouldn't follow a single technology adoption curve like an iPad or something like that. Like it shouldn't be that super fast, 6 to 15 years kind of thing. It should look much more like a technological revolution. And a technological revolution is something that changes all industry verticals, basically, and just kind of is something foundational that changes everything. And I think that's what Bitcoin is in the framework of Carlota Perez, who wrote Technological Revolutions in Financial Capital 20 years ago. This should be the sixth major modern era technological revolution after things like mass production, symbolized by the Model T rolling off the line in 1906, or the information revolution, symbolized by the first chip rolling off of an Intel fab in 1971. So I think that's what we're in. And these things take, 4 to 8 decades, and we have better money. We humans, 8 billion of us, have better money. We have real money for the first time. Everything else has been a pretty poor approximation of real money. And we're going to wake up to that, and we're going to build this internet of money, and it's all going to sound like Andreas videos from 2014 and 2015. And that's actually going to happen. And, as long as you can keep on the path and try to help make that happen, I think you'll have a very fulfilled life. But yeah, it's not going to be easy.